Hello everyone, and welcome back to FilmBook Review, an official YouTube channel of FilmBook. Today, I will be reviewing the film Italian Studies, a movie that screened at the 2021 Tribeca Film Festival. Italian Studies is directed by Adam Leon, written by Adam Leon, and stars Vanessa Kirby, Simon Brickner, David Ajala, Misha Brooks, and Fred Hershinger. This is an Italian Studies movie review and there will be spoilers. If you like our movie reviews, please like this Italian Studies film review as that helps us out with YouTube's algorithm, and consider subscribing. Once subscribed, click the bell notification box and you are all set. Please also consider becoming one of our patrons on Patreon at patreon.com/filmbook. Who are we but a mix of our histories, our experiences, and the stories we hear and tell? The older we get, the more we gather all those things, and the harder it may become to distinguish one from another. Italian Studies, the new film from writer-director Adam Leon, is a lucid investigation into such schisms of identity, and the struggle to determine where projection usurps authenticity. Elena Reynolds is a 30-something writer living in London. During an outing with her husband and friends, she crosses paths with a stranger while in search of a cigarette. This young woman tells Elena they've met before in New York City, although for the life of her, Elena can't recall this encounter. From there, the narrative goes reeling back across oceans and time to the Big Apple, where Elena was once living an earlier life. During this time, Elena is constantly distracted and moves about the city in a trance. She's not really sure why she's where she is at any given moment, even abandoning her dog at a hardware store while in such a haze, much less who she is. Through chance encounters and pure coincidence, she eventually pieces together her identity through her own writings and begins to vaguely work out her next steps. She then falls into the stoned graces of teenager Simon and his easygoing group of friends who allow her to tag along in their crosstown adventures as research for an upcoming novel, with little judgment and reckless abandon. But is she really doing that? Locations and moments begin to overlap, and Elena changing her outfit or even her whole being via a younger Maya Hawke stand-in the blink of an eye, without breaking dialogue. And the more she learns about her body of work, particularly a collection of short stories titled Italian Studies, the more the adventures she finds herself in seem to parallel those she's already written about. It's made even more difficult to suss out what is and isn't real when she freely admits to forgetting every story she's ever written. One wonders whether Elena is truly suffering some sort of memory loss or if she's just reliving her own stories vicariously, which creates nothing but a dreamy, convoluted reality. Despite never resolving the mystery of the film's structure, Leon makes it effortlessly watchable with a silky smooth presentation. The logic in which Elena bounces around New York from place to place and month to month is never rationalized, but with the inviting way in which Leon strings it along, with stable handheld cinematography, a team of 4 editors, and a wondrous score from Nicolas Britell, the core mystery is rendered mostly irrelevant, or at least the solving of it is. Elena, who Kirby plays with a disaffected curiosity, floats through her scenes with fearful and fearless naivete, making her an untethered anchor for us within an equally unstable world. Still, as beautiful and entrancing as Italian Studies can be, those same qualities make it all the easier to disconnect ourselves from it. It's like a commentary without the commentary, a statement without the purpose. Think Kids sans the shock value and social bite. It's not horrifying nor thrilling, but it is an anxiety-induced drama, like a stress dream where the nightmare is reliving your most frustrating moments, like failing a test or losing your keys for missing an appointment. As a defense mechanism, especially amongst those of us who spend too much of our adult lives living with anxiety-induced insomnia, we're just going to tune out. But within those stress-induced nightmares, there are kernels of truth, perhaps even ones that we adults choose to actively avoid. As Italian Studies goes on, we see how Alina becomes more and more unappreciative of the teenagers, taking advantage of their generosity and openness all for the sake of her research. By doing so, she participates in a sort of generational and to some degree cultural voyeurism that consumes all the fun-loving, risk-taking, devil-may-care attitude of being a teenager in New York City, but with none of the responsibility that comes attached to those lives on their own, nor to herself as an adult among them. Italian studies may function as a love letter to the grittiness and vitality of both adolescence and metropolitan life, but it's also a scoffing rebuke at those who'd only seek vicarious depictions of it through media rather than earnestly interrogate the sources that perpetuate such grit, mainly inequality and isolation, in the modern age. Escapism through literature is a fine pastime, but it's also not a way of life. Italian Studies is a New York film in the most ephemeral sense. Everyone stands out in the city and simultaneously blends into it. Everything is bursting with life, but is insignificant all the same. Such are the narratives we use to find slivers of relatability, while we try to make heads or tails of the chaos of the rest of it. And that brings us to the conclusion of this Italian Studies movie review. I would love to hear your thoughts on it below in the comments section. If you liked what you heard during this review, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for viewing, and you can watch one of these reviews next.